G'day guys, welcome to the third video in this series for the Sanlorenzo 72. We have come under the Spit Bridge, which is just an opening bridge. Would you believe it? We still have them in a big city of 5 million people, for those of you watching from outside of Sydney. So due to the weather and access getting under the bridge, we didn't do a fast video on this boat last time. So that's what we're going to do today. Couple of things, just a bit of housekeeping. Obviously, we let the boat idle and drove slowly till we brought her up to temperature. They're big motors. I don't like getting engines like this up to speed until they are warm. We've also chosen a spot on the harbour where we're not going to affect too many people with our wash. So this is a boat that you'll cruise around, you know, in your inshore or protected areas, just in pretty much idle forward. So we are in idle forward right now. That's giving us a revs of 650 revs, and I'm doing 6.5 knots. So 6.5 knots, no wash over the back of the boat. So you will really, you know, get along at a decent clip just in idle forward. But you came to see a little bit more speed than that today, so let's do it. So I'll bring those revs up, rolling through 700, 800 there. And that speed straight away coming up to 7 knots. I'm just going to get it up to close to 900 to 1,000 revs. You driving from the flybridge, you've got less of a sensation of what the motors are doing in terms of noise and vibration as you do compared to downstairs, obviously. And the other observation, you know, when you have the thrusters on, if you're operating them from up here, you hardly hear the stern thruster. So you want to just make sure the power is on, and when you operate it, you will hear it, and it obviously moves the boat, but you're so high up and far away from the stern from this position, you may not notice it. So that's giving us at, I'm about 950 revs there, so that's giving us 8.8 knots. And let's just bring that speed up, go to 1,000. Okay, sitting on 1,000, that's giving me 9 knots. Not too much wash over the back of the boat at 9 knots, which is interesting. And bring it up to 1,100. Let's just sit at a slightly higher speed for a while. So that's coming up to 1,200. And we're starting to make some wash. 1,200. That's giving us 10.7 knots at the moment. That seems pretty consistent at 10.7. Now, just letting you know, we do have some swell rolling through the harbour today. It's very moderate. We've got a bit of westerly wind, sort of steady at 15 at times to 20 knots, coming from right to left across the decks, and the swells coming in from a southeastern direction. So you will see the boat rolling around from time to time. So that's 1,200, a little over 1,200 revs on both motors, and that's giving us 10.8 knots. Let's just get a bit more speed. Let's come up to 1,300. 1,300 just feels like a good rev range for this boat. You know, this is a planing boat, you will get on the plane, but if you want to stay off the plane, I'd say, and you weren't or in an area where you're concerned about putting waves off the back of the boat, I'd say 1,300 revs is a happy place for you, because that's going to give you a speed return of 11 knots. Nice attitude of the vessel. The waves aren't even too crazy. Most boats could get through that wash with relative ease. And yeah, you're getting along on a nice clip. I've just seen 11.5 knots. So call it 11 because we are rolling through a few waves here. Let's give it some more speed. Okay, that's 1,400 revs. That's 1,500 revs. I'm just going to keep accelerating now. I feel like I just want to get the boat on the plane. I do have trim tabs, but from just watching it on the drone, it didn't really seem like it needed too much of that. Okay, so now I'm at 1,600 revs. The boat feels like she's almost on the plane. That's giving us 14 knots. Let's get to 1,700. Now we're at 1,800 revs. And yeah, we're definitely planing. We got 15 knots and climbing. She feels good. Geez, you feel powerful from up here. 15 knots and climbing. 16 knots. 16 knots at 1,800 revs. the boat feels powerful. I'm going to give it a bit more. I'm going to have to apologise to a couple of these boats around me, but tough cookies. 1900 revs, speed climbing. Now this, guys, this is a 30 knot boat, so don't be surprised if we get a little bit more out of this one. We're not going to get 30 knots today because we have a little bit of growth on the bottom. But now I'm sitting at 2000 revs, 18 knots. I'm going to bring it over 2000 in a second. I'm just waiting until I get into some more consistent water for that to try and give you a little bit of an accurate speed number. So 2000 revs, 18.2 knots on the dial right now. And let's give it a bit more. Let's go to 2100. So in those scenarios when the weather's changing or you've seen the forecast do a little whoopsie and it looks like it's going to go you know, from sunny to not so sunny, this is when you take advantage of power on a boat like this and you just get out of there. Just go home. Do something else. Okay. 2200, 21 knots. Now I'm feeling powerful. I'm just going to give it a little bit more. I'm not going to go wide open throttle. Oh no, what the hey. Let's just do it. 2300, that's flat stick, getting 23 knots right now. 23 knots. With some trimming and cleaner bottom, we would definitely get more performance out of this boat. But I tell you what, for this displacement and size of boat, we really are pushing some water. I'm just going to bring it off the plane now. So you got to remember, look at a lot of boats in this 70-foot size range. Pay attention to their displacement. This Sanlorenzo is a lot of boat. It's a real considerable piece of kit, and it's quite a lot heavier than a lot of the boats that you're possibly comparing it to. So that's going to give you some stability and comfort advantages over the long haul, because it's going to be a boat that really powers through, as we just saw, any wash. You are going to be just really motoring on through, and you're not going to notice it a lot. So that is a real benefit. And then when you're at rest in your protected bays, the boat just doesn't want to move around as much. The final point, parking the thing. Yes, it's a big boat. Yes, it's got some windage, but it takes a lot to get it moving. So what we'll do, we'll actually stick the cameras on when we park it back in the berth, and we'll cut to that so you can have a little bit of an education on how all of that works. But that's it. That's all I wanted to show you. Big boat, heavy boat, powerful, capable. Cruise along 11 to 13 knots at your moderate speeds. Very, very comfortable. Don't offend too many people. All wind it up, go for it, and get where you want to go fast. You can do it on a boat like this. My name's Dan Jones. If you want to check out the walkthrough or a mechanical display, we go down into the engine room. Got a couple more videos already on that. I'll put the links in the description below. Okay guys, here we go. Just going to do a little parking demonstration here. Might have to line the boat up first. That'd help too, wouldn't it, Dan? So what we have done is departed the flybridge helm, activated the remote control here. Make sure when you're using one of these remotes, you face it the right way. That's kind of crucial. And now I'm going to try and talk you in as to what I'm doing, but if I go quiet, it means I'm thinking. So just forgive me on that. I've called for berth assistance. Our lines are all ready to rock and roll. I've got Will on starboard. I've chosen the starboard aft quarter because I got good visibility, and we've also been checking all the way around. So what I'm doing, using this joystick system, you've got different settings in terms of what setting the throttle is at, and I've got my anchor, bow and stern thrusters just here, and I'm just trying to position the boat right now using the throttles. We have an immense amount of power with these throttles, so this boat will go when you give it some. So I'm just doing it little taps here and there, and I'm going to be lining the boat up There we go. I just want to settle everything down because a boat like this is a lot of boat, and when she gets moving, you don't have. You've got to commit to it, and if you're gonna bail out, you've got to do it before you enter the berth. So I'm actually just coming in. Now I'm just lining up. I'm just lining up the boat with the dock. So if I'm in line with the dock, I should be okay with the boat on my port side. I do have a boat on my port side, and looking good, just cruising in. The guys are going to get the lines for me. So about a metre off the dock there, just coming in at a nice controllable speed. I like that. No issues with other boats. Do a little touch up on the bow thruster. Not sure I'm happy with that. And we're going to go for the midship spring. That's going to stop us from hitting. So that's this rope here. Will's just going to hook that. Everything's nice and slow and steady. We don't like to rush things. And that's going to stop us from basically hitting the back of the dock. And this is our next one. I'll grab that as you come through. Thank you very much. So now that's on. We'll just keep drifting back. We do, not my lines. Okay, I'm just going to take some speed out of it. Here we go. I'm going to come up on these lines in a second. Where's my midship spring? There it is. Okay, looking good. I'll actually need to come back. There we go. Now my midship spring's about to go tight. There we go. Lovely. Now we're getting the forward spring on. That's going to stop us from as we bounce forward. So I'll just give it a click in reverse. Take some pressure off that for Will. Lovely. And then we've just got stern line in here. So the beauty of this system, I'm still trying to concentrate, guys, whilst I talk to you. That one goes, yep. I can keep a good handle on everything that's going on. I've got this long cable here. I can cross to the other side of the boat if I need. And my visibility can be, just a sec, I'll bring that in for you. Improved. If I can't see something, you just walk there. Okay. Lovely. Be on the video. Wonderful. So, thank you. That's great. So, guys, that's really all there is to it. Hydraulic thrusters, bucket loads of power. If you stay on the thrusters, you'll hear the engines rev up. It's perfectly normal. Have your lines set up, prepare the boat before you enter the dock, and everything's controllable from here. Throttles, anchor, bow thruster, stern thruster, take command, and trolling. It's all there. Hope that was useful.